Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about my Marlin Edition TF2 from RC4WD Drive. Now this is far from a stock one, but had some interest in it with just talking to people at USDE, mainly about the winches and just the way it's set up. But before we get into that, please check out Dixieland RC, RC Addict, and Darkside 3D Printing. All three of these are terrific places to shop from. They're all three small businesses, and they are excellent people trying to do positive things in this hobby. So check them all out, please. And now we're going to get into the electronics side of this thing. We're going to go over every aspect of this truck. Everything from the suspension setup, essentially, to electronics, to skid plates, to bumpers, the whole 9 yards. There's only one thing that's going to change on this truck in the near future, and I'll mention what that is when we get to it. But we're going to start from the main power plant on this truck. We'll start with the ESC and the motor itself. As you can tell, this has a motor drop done to it. I dropped the motor. There's tons of videos on YouTube, excellent videos on how to do a motor drop on a TF2. I definitely suggest looking them up, and it does make a difference. It lowers the center of gravity. I mean, normally your motor sits up around here. So, you know, it's up above the servo pretty much. So by doing that motor drop, you're dropping that motor and lowering your center of gravity by, it's knocking it down there a good 1.5 inches almost. So, but this is a Hobbywing Axe. This is a 2300 kV version. And beside the motor, you'll see, this is a Reefs 4WD servo. It is powered from a BEC that's located in this receiver box. There's a BEC located in here that gives the 444 7.5 volts. It is a Castle 10 amp BEC. So after that, that covers that stuff. The receiver that's being used is a FlySky 6-channel. I use a hacked FlySky GT3C radio. And that radio allows me to do multiple winches at one time, different controls with it. It allows me to do all kinds of things. So that's what's controlling the truck. You're going to see two ESCs here. Both of these are Hobbywing 1060s. I use them for winch controllers. They are waterproof and they are 3S capable. So this ESC is connected to this winch. This is a Precision RC Works H.O.G winch. Of course, you can tell it's internally spooled. And these are amazing winches. They have a lifetime warranty on them. And they have a ton of power. They're reliable. They're durable. There's nothing really I can say bad about them, to be truthful with you. They're backed by great people. So that does the rear end of the truck. Has no problems lifting, pulling, jerking the truck around, doing whatever I need it to do. Then up front, we have another winch. It's controlled by this ESC. So that ESC comes up to this winch. This is just a RC4WD Drive 9.5. It's a standard winch you see all over the place for $30. And mind you, they are hit and miss. This is the build of 3 winches put together to finally make one that has the power to pull the truck, lift the truck, and doesn't break when I use it. I ripped 2 gearboxes out of one and a motor out of one. So I took the parts and pieces, put all of it together, and finally found a combination that lifted the truck and pulled the truck and did what I needed it to do. So that's what that is. Like I say, that's controlled by this. So I use a Helios 3000 MAH pack 3S. I use these in every single truck we have. They're a very nice middle of the ground battery pack. I get roughly 3 hours full trail time with this battery in this truck. So that kind of sums up, and that's 3 hours constant. That's not braking, that's not stopping. It is 3 hours constant in this truck. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to, we'll work our way down from the shocks down. So on each one of the, on the back chassis and on the front shock hoops, you'll see I have black, essentially they're keys. They are boom racing. They're just their universal shock keys, and they fit perfectly on this truck. They line up with the holes in the back, and as you can tell, I don't have any holes cut into my bed of any kind. They line up perfect. They come right to the bottom of the bed, and they sit, and they don't actually touch the bed. You can see there's no rub marks, but there is just enough clearance there. So they work flawlessly, front and rear, and it's perfect. So moving down from there, we come down and we see our bumpers sitting here. Obviously, these are not stock. These are not RC four-wheel drive. These are A&M Garage. If you do not know anything about A&M Garage and you own a TF2, you are completely missing out. By far, they are the most performance-based company you will find for a TF2. They took this truck, quite frankly, in its stock form. I was not happy with this truck. They took it and completely turned it around for me. It made me fall in love with this truck with their parts, and that is flat out honesty. So, as you can see, I have the front bumper and the rear bumper. Both of them have a fairlead built into them. The front bumper has the shackle reversal kit essentially built into it. And what this does is the original TF2 pivoted on the front, okay? And what that did was let the axle bounce around. Had a lot of slack in it. It wasn't good for anything. There was no positives to it. It was all negatives. A&M Garage fixed that up. And also, whenever they made this bumper, this is one of the first ones they made, but it also pulled the axle forward. The original axle position was slightly back farther. And this pulled the axle forward to get you a better approach angle. I believe they even have one that pulls your axle slightly, just a little bit more than this one. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it, but I'm fairly positive they do. But anyhow, it's an amazing product because of everything it does. The winch mount you see here is CCHand. They make this winch mount that actually is designed for this. It gets rid of your front brace. That would be your front bumper holder, the factory one. You remove that, and then you put this in as your chassis brace, and it goes your servo and allows you to mount the RC four-wheel drive winch right behind your front grille. This is going to get replaced with a servo winch. That is the thing I was talking about that will be changing on the truck. So that's the only upgrade I have planned. It's going to be a servo winch in there. So after we go from that point, back bumper, A&M Garage, same deal. Like I said, it's a little more custom. And then after that, these are Boom Racing Fat Axles, AR44s, front and rear. Okay, and these are actually the full build. These are the Boom Racing internals, badass internals. And I'm going to be quite frank with you, they have held up better than even the Vanquish internals I have in my son's Boom Racing axle housings. There is less slop, less play in these than what my son has. And these have had a rougher life. I'm by far impressed with these axle housings and the internals that they come with from the factory. So after we move there, like I say, they're front and rear. These are JEC Racing, and they are designed to mount the AR44s to the leaf springs. Same mount locations as factory on TF2. Now it does give you a slight raise between your axle housing and the leaf springs. It's not dramatic. You're probably talking 1/8 inch or so, but it does give you a pivot on your axle housing, so it changes your actual pinion angle. So it's a lot nicer. After we go from there, of course, we have the A&M Garage skid plate. That skid plate comes with a transfer case mount, which raises your transfer case up. So the ground clearance on this is amazing. I'll put a video clip in here of this running the exact same line as my RC four-wheel drive, or the exact same line as my TRX4 running 4.75 Rock Beast, where this clears the obstacle and the TRX4 actually gets hung up on it. I'll put that in this. It's like a 30-second clip. You'll like it. So we have the skid plate, the sliders. Of course, these are all metal. Now, they all do have weight to them, so some people, you got to pick and choose your battles. I went with them just to have the protection underneath there. If you're trying to shed weight, you know, a lot of comp guys like to shed weight, then these may not be for you. You may want to stick with something else or nothing at all. So it's all what you want. So as we move from there, we are going to go to the drive shafts. These are super shafty MIPs, made exclusively for the A&M Garage transfer case / skid plate conversion kit, because it does raise your transfer case up, so you need longer drive shafts. Factory drive shafts will fall out essentially on you. We have the A&M Garage anti-wrap, which this is probably my #1 upgrade for a leaf truck for the rear end of it. He is working on a front one, by the way, if you're unaware. And also, this is a Boom Racing badass drive shaft. The intermediate shaft I'm using, that's what it is. And they hold up extremely well. They're extremely durable. They're extremely scale. They're not huge. So now the shocks that I'm running on this are the axial icons, and they are just what was on a these come off a kit SCX10 too, and I run them with 3,000 weight diff oil in them, and they work amazing. They don't leak that bad at all. I mean, their icons, they do leak, but with 3,000 weight in there, and I treat the O-rings with a special oil that's essentially a sealant, and I have little leakage with them whatsoever. So it's not something that's terrible. Other than that, that is essentially my RC4 drive TF2. One last change to do, servo winch up front, and that's about it. These are Boom Racing Hustlers. I run the Ultra Soft in the front and the Super Soft in the rear. And the wheels are Boom Racing Crates. So with that setup on there, it is Class 1 legal. It gives me exactly half my tire coverage with the truck. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all on this truck or anything about this truck, or just questions in general, please drop them in the comment section below. Keep the comment section civil and respectful. If not, you'll find your comment is gone. I ain't putting up with it. It's just the way it's going to be. This is a positive environment, a positive place. If you have questions or you would like to see it done a different way, or you think something should be done a different way, please drop it in there. I'm not saying don't comment. I'm saying just be respectful with your comments. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. And I really do mean that. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. See you in the next video. I'll throw the clip of this in here right after you see this spot. So take care, everyone. Thank you.